Do you recognize this? If you do, it might be for multiple reasons. One, there's a song that's been charting lately from a rapper called Latto, called Big Energy. I'm not going to sing it because it's a little explicit and I'm a little old. But if you're a certain age like me, you might also recognize this music as the kind of the riff that was used in Mariah Carey's 1995 hit Fantasy. And if you're another certain age, you may even remember the original track that Fantasy was sampled from, which is called Genius of Love by the Tom Tom Club. And that was released way back in 1981. So this riff, it's been like the gift that's been giving for over 40 years now, right? And for the original composers in the Tom Tom Club, providing they still own the copyright for it, ka-chang, what a bonus. So what does this have to do with your business? Well, here's the deal. The things you put out today, your content, your blog posts, your videos, your emails, the things you put out there, they are like gifts that keep giving over time, but you got to give them the time, right? So they're going to continue to inspire long after you put them out. They're like ripples. You send things out and then maybe they come back to you immediately, or maybe they come back to you 2 or 3 years later. I can't tell you how many coaches I've talked to, including myself, who say they've had people reach out to them and say, I've been following you for 3 years, or I've been following you for 2 years, or sometimes even more, sometimes even 5 years. So the challenge for us as entrepreneurs is that we don't see this impact of our content right away. It's like sowing seeds. And so when we don't see the impact, we think it's not working. And then we change tactics and then we lose momentum. But really all we need to do is give it more time. And this is why you need to show up consistently day after day with your communications and your messaging and your content, right? As I said before, it's like sowing seeds for a field of wheat. If you don't sow the seeds and tend to them consistently, you're not going to get the crop. And sometimes that takes a couple seasons. So how do you do this when your faith is shaking and every second ad on social media saying, do it this way? No, do it this way. No, this is the way. You got to do it this way. Do it my way. My way's the best, right? How do you stay consistent in the face of all this noise, external, in addition to your internal noise, your self-doubt, and a lack of immediate evidence that things are working? Well, stay tuned because that's what this video is all about. Hi, my name's Morrow, and I help emerging coaches and transformational consultants step out of isolation and into more authentic connections with messaging that inspires them and their ideal audiences. And if this is you and you're struggling with finding clients, I encourage you to download my free training below, How to Find Clients When Social Media Isn't Doing It For You. So often we give up because our dream is so big, so far away, so out of our current comfort zone that it seems impossible, right? Maybe you want to impact 1 million people or make $1 million and you have yet to find your first client, or you've only, maybe made like $4,000. Now, I'm all for dreaming, and I firmly believe that if you believe in it, you can make it happen. But we also need to be realistic about how much time we have on this physical plane and how much time things take, especially when you're new to them and especially when you're learning and especially when you're not delegating yet. So this is why the first tip to stay consistent is to think big, act small. Break those big visions down into goals, break each goal down into a project, break each project into a milestone or milestones, break your milestones into smaller deliverables, and then break those deliverables into tasks. Then prioritize and focus in your day-to-day on the deliverables and the tasks in front of you now, not the big vision. You come back to the big vision, it keeps you motivated, but don't let the I'm here and it's there stop you. Follow this acronym. This is an amazing acronym. Focus. Follow one course until successful. Keep refining one strategy until you've got it nailed, right? It's the same with courses and programs and clients and audiences. Stop jumping from platform to platform, teacher to teacher, niche to niche. Think of your investment in whatever direction you're taking like a child, like your child. You don't expect your child to walk when it's first born, right? And then say, oh, this thing's faulty and neglect it. You nurture it, you give it time and space it needs to grow. And you need to do the same with your content, your strategies, and your tactics. 2, to stay consistent, set process, not outcome goals. What's the difference? Well, say you're doing a workshop and you want 20 people registered for it, right? That's an outcome goal. You want 20 people to come to your workshop. But the only thing you have control over is how you approach this goal, right? You don't actually have control over the outcome. It's not entirely up to you. It's up to the people who decide to come or don't decide to come. A process goal, on the other hand, is something you do have 100% control of, and it tells you how to achieve your outcome goals. So it's a repeatable task that you do in service of the outcome, right? So if you're promoting a workshop and you want 20 people to come, your outcome goal, your process goal might be reaching out to 10 people daily until you have 10 people registered. So that's something you can absolutely do. Outcome goals are great in that they give us something to shoot for, but process goals are really what you want to focus on, because your process goal is going to give you your tasks. It's going to tell you what to do each and every day to build your business. And if you do something long enough and you keep learning and refining as you go, you will succeed, right? It's putting in that time. It's paying your dues. So plan your day with process goals and then measure your personal success by how well you met the process goals. Celebrate meeting your process goals. So I'm just curious, what are some of the process goals you set in your business? Share them in the comments below. 3, think of everything as practice. This is going to help you stay consistent. At 4 years old, Mark Galante decided he wanted to be a professional artist. And here are some photos of his progress over the years. And here's one of his works, which is now sold in prints all over the world today. And as he told the Huffington Post, constant practice has been a huge part of his success. When you practice, here's the thing, you don't have to be perfect because it's practice. You just have to take action repeatedly and learn from what works and what doesn't. Practice is a way that we show up without putting too much pressure on ourselves to succeed, right? So think of your process goals as practice. Right now, I'm practicing making videos, and it's a way of learning. If you can approach every time you have to do something as a way to get better at it, then you can forgive yourself when you face setbacks, because those days give you information as to what you can do better or simply what you need to give yourself. So a practice perspective also helps with the previous point of focusing on the process rather than the results, as I said, and it keeps us firmly in the now. Speaking of which, the 4th way to become more consistent is to expect, speaking of the now, to be bored. I'm not bored, but I'm saying you should expect to be bored, because being bored is part of the process. It actually is. A lot of people I know, more and more every day it seems, wonder, do I have ADHD? I keep getting distracted. No, some people do, for sure, that's legit, but some of us are simply addicted to dopamine. And dopamine is what we get from novelty. We get a hit of it every time we scroll social media and find something interesting. We get a hit of it every time we watch an emotionally charged TV show or a YouTube video or an Instagram reel. We get a hit of it whenever we indulge in our addictions, whatever they are. You know, some people create drama just to get that dopamine. And some of us, including me, get a hit of it every time they start something new. So this is important to know, because depending where you are on the dopamine scale, you may need to retrain the brain to focus, right? Because the fact of the matter is, a lot of growth is boring AF. It's comprised of a million tiny steps repeated over and over and over again. And if you can get on the flow of those, that's amazing. But you don't always. And this means we need to show up even when we don't feel like it, even when we're tired, even when we aren't inspired, even when we're newly in love and can't stop thinking about the person, or we've got some new passion or hobby and all we want to do is that. We need to show up when self-doubt is making us question everything, and especially when self-doubt is making us question everything. So how do you overcome this? You plan for boredom. You expect it. And you accept it when it shows up as a normal part of the process. Not as a sign that this course of action isn't right for you. Not as a sign that, oh, no, this means the universe wants me to do something else. No, you keep going. One trick that I use is timed sprints. So I set a timer, I move my phone away from me, I turn off all distractions, including social media and other work, until that timer is done. Another way to do this is what writing coach Rusty LaHaye suggested in our interview recently, and that's to use a writing app called Cold Turkey, which essentially won't let you access anything else on your computer until you finish a certain number of words or put in a certain number of time. So here's a quick question for you. What do you do when you're bored in your business? I would love to hear how you stay focused. What are your tips? What are your tricks? So your final tip to be more consistent is this. Share your goals with another person. Now, you don't necessarily have to make them public, but it is important to tell other people what you're going to do, because when we do that, we are more likely to follow through. None of us likes to be seen as somebody who is not congruent with our word. We all like to be seen as people who have integrity. And this is why masterminds and accountability groups and online co-working sessions work so well, because you essentially make a promise to your partners or coworkers that you're going to do something in a certain allocated time, whether that's 2 weeks or 2 hours. And by the way, this is what we do at our weekly knockout co-working sessions. You show up, you state what you intend to do, and then you hustle over the next 2 hours to get it done. So after 2 hours, you can say, I did that, done. So recap, these are your 5 ways to stay more consistent in your business. 1, break big dreams down into baby steps. 2, focus on process, not outcome goals. 3, think of everything you do as practice. 4, expect to be bored and set up ways to overcome that. And 5, share your goals with another person. Show up consistently and you are 85% of the way there. This is how people succeed. They just show up. They keep going when other people quit. So what will you do this week to be more consistent in your business? I would love for you to show up and share your commitment below. I, for one, am committed to keep creating videos like this each week. So if you found this helpful, hit the like button so that more people will find this video. And also subscribe, and you'll get instant notification of more practical, spiritual, and other ways that you can be more visible in your coaching or transformational consulting practice. You got this.